Relax, God already has a plan. Sometimes life feels like a storm that won't end. You pray and nothing seems to change. You work hard but the doors stay closed. You ask God for answers but silence is all you hear. In moments like these, doubt whispers that maybe God forgot about you. But hear this truth today. God has not forgotten you. He already has a plan. Every detail of your life is in His hands. Welcome to Inspire with David Yogi. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a message that strengthens your faith. The path of faith is not always straight. Sometimes God allows detours not to destroy you but to develop you. The delay you feel today is not denial. It is divine preparation. God is not working against you. He is working for you, even when you cannot see it. The Bible says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That means, even when life feels out of control, God's plan is still perfectly in motion. Think about Joseph in the Bible. Betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave falsely, accused, thrown into prison, and forgotten by men. Yet in every painful season, God was arranging the pieces of a greater purpose. When the time was right, Joseph stood in the palace, not the prison, because the plan of God never fails. The same God who turned Joseph's sorrow into victory is the same God watching over your life right now. You may not understand why certain things happened. You may have cried asking God why He allowed that heartbreak or that loss. But remember, this faith is not about understanding everything. It is about trusting the one who understands everything. Proverbs 3:25 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." When you trust God fully, you stop fighting the process and start finding peace in His presence. There is peace in knowing that God's plan includes even your pain. The cross looked like defeat, but it was the path to resurrection. What you see as a setback may be the setup for something greater. The enemy tries to make you panic, but faith tells you to relax, because God already has a plan. Maybe you are praying for direction. Maybe you feel stuck in a season of waiting. Let me tell you, this waiting time is not wasted time. God is preparing something you are not ready to handle yet. Just as the seed must stay hidden before it sprouts, you must stay faithful before the promise appears. Keep praying, keep believing, keep obeying. Your breakthrough is on the way. When you surrender your timeline to God, you will discover peace that no circumstance can steal. You will learn that God's timing is always perfect. He does not delay, He designs. You do not have to force open doors. The right one will open when the season is right. Until then, relax. The author of your story knows every chapter ahead. Today, if you feel anxious, afraid, or uncertain, whisper this prayer in your heart. Lord, I surrender my plans to you. I believe you are working in ways I cannot see. Give me the patience to wait and the strength to trust. Amen. Remember, your future is not in the hands of chance, but in the hands of God. You are not forgotten, you are being formed. Every trial has purpose, every delay has design, and every pain has meaning. Relax. God already has a plan. When life feels silent and uncertain, it is easy to believe that you have been forgotten. The human heart begins to question why prayers go unanswered, and why God seems so far away. Yet the truth is that silence is never absence. God never forgets His children. His love is constant, even when His voice is quiet. Sometimes He steps back not to abandon you, but to strengthen you. In the moments when you feel unseen, He is watching over every step you take. Just as a teacher stays silent during a test, God allows certain seasons of quiet to reveal what has been planted in your heart. He wants you to grow in trust, not depend solely on feelings. Feelings change, but faith remains. You may not see what He is doing behind the scenes, but every second is part of His design. Think of the stars that shine brightest in the dark. The darkness does not mean they are gone, it only gives them space to shine. In the same way, when life grows dim, God's hand is still holding you steady. The enemy whispers that you have been left behind, but faith declares that God is still working. Every unanswered prayer is a seed waiting for the right time to bloom. God remembers every tear, every cry, and every act of faith. Nothing escapes His notice. You are engraved on the palms of His hands, which means you are permanently remembered. He knows your name, your pain, and your purpose. When the time is right, He will bring light into every shadow and show you that His silence was full of preparation. Delays are one of the hardest parts of faith because they test the heart more deeply than denial. When doors remain closed and promises seem distant, it is natural to wonder if something went wrong. Yet delays are not signs of rejection. They are signs of divine timing. God uses delay as a tool of preparation, not punishment. The waiting process shapes your character, aligns your heart, and positions you for the promise. If blessings came too early, they could break you instead of build you. A delay is God's way of protecting you from what you are not yet ready to carry. Like a child learning to walk, you must grow strong before you can run. The time of waiting refines your motives and strengthens your faith. In Scripture, we see that before great breakthroughs, there were long seasons of delay. Abraham waited for the promise of a son. David waited years before becoming king. Each delay produced endurance and wisdom. When God delays, it is because something greater is in motion. He is aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances to fit perfectly into His plan for you. What looks like stagnation is often sacred preparation. The delay teaches patience, humility, and trust. When you understand that delay does not mean denial, you stop panicking and start preparing. Every delay carries purpose, and every waiting season carries growth. The moment you stop fighting the waiting is the moment peace begins to fill your heart. Faith begins where understanding ends. It is the bridge between what you cannot explain and what you still believe will happen. Many people want to understand every detail before trusting, but true faith is trusting even when nothing makes sense. When the situation looks impossible and logic fails, faith whispers that there is still hope. It is not built on what the eyes can see, but on what the heart believes. Understanding tries to control, but faith chooses to surrender. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to let go of the need for answers. Yet it is in those very moments of surrender that peace begins to grow. Faith is not about ignoring reality. It is about believing that there is a greater reality beyond what you can see. When life falls apart, The mind demands an explanation, but the Spirit simply says, I will still trust. That trust becomes the foundation for miracles. The storms of life may shake your plans, but they cannot shake the promise of God. Every act of faith, no matter how small, moves you closer to the destiny prepared for you. Faith gives strength when the road is dark and calm, when fear tries to take control. It teaches you to walk forward, even when the path is hidden. It reminds you that peace is not found in knowing the plan, but in knowing the planner. The beauty of faith is that it allows you to rest even in the unknown. When you live by faith, confusion loses its power, and anxiety loses its grip, because you know that unseen hands are guiding every step you take. Painful seasons often cause questions to rise, and it becomes difficult to see how they could ever fit into a good plan. Yet the truth is that purpose and pain are deeply connected. The plan of God does not exclude struggle, it includes it. Every painful moment becomes part of a greater design meant to build strength, humility, and compassion within you. The plan includes the lessons that come from loss, the wisdom that comes from failure, and the faith that comes from waiting. Nothing is wasted in the hands of God. The broken pieces of your life are not discarded, they are rearranged into something beautiful. When everything feels shattered, that is often the place where transformation begins. Just as a seed must be buried before it grows, you sometimes must go through darkness before you see light. Pain refines what comfort cannot. It removes pride, strengthens dependence, and draws your heart closer to the Creator. The very moments you thought would destroy you are often the ones that prepare you for your destiny. The plan is not to harm you, but to shape you. Every tear carries meaning, and every disappointment carries direction. When you start to see pain through the eyes of purpose, you stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Use me." You realize that nothing is random, and every hardship is part of something far greater than what you can see right now. Waiting is one of the most difficult tests of faith. It challenges the heart more than failure or rejection, because it feels like time itself has stopped. The waiting season often feels like silence from heaven, where prayers seem unanswered and progress feels distant. Yet, in that quiet space, something sacred happens. Waiting is not wasted time, it is a time of preparation. The unseen work that happens in your heart during waiting is often more important than the thing you are waiting for. Patience is being built, humility is being formed, and strength is being developed. Waiting teaches you that blessings are not earned through rushing, but received through readiness. When you wait with faith, you are declaring that you trust the plan, even when you cannot see the next step. The waiting season allows your heart to mature, and your spirit to align with divine timing. Just as a farmer waits for the right season to harvest, you must wait for the right moment for your promise to unfold. If a seed is pulled from the ground too early, it will never become what it was meant to be. The same is true for your destiny. The waiting protects you from moving before the time is right. It keeps you rooted until the foundation of your faith is strong enough to hold the weight of the blessing. Waiting is not a sign of delay, but a sign that something great is being built within you. It is in the waiting that you learn to pray deeper, believe stronger, and surrender fully. Every day spent waiting is a day God is using to prepare you for the very thing you prayed for. The same God who turned pain into power in the life of Joseph is still working in the same way today. When betrayal, false accusation, and prison surrounded Joseph, it seemed like everything had gone wrong. But every step of his suffering was part of a divine setup for greatness. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. The same truth applies to every person who chooses to trust through trials. The hands that guided Joseph from the pit to the palace are the same hands guiding your story. You may be in a place that feels forgotten or unfair, but purpose is still alive within that pain. When God is with you, no situation can cancel your destiny. Even when others intend harm, He turns it into good. Every injustice, every disappointment, every loss becomes a stepping stone toward what was promised. The story of Joseph reminds us that nothing can stop the plan once faith remains. He went from being a prisoner to a leader because the presence of God never left him. That same presence surrounds you. When everything seems broken, remember that God can use the pieces to build something greater than before. The same power that lifted Joseph will lift you in due time. You are not forgotten, you are being positioned. What feels like the end is often the beginning of a higher purpose unfolding in ways you never expected. Surrender is one of the most powerful expressions of faith because it requires letting go of control and trusting that everything will work together for good. Many people spend their lives trying to manage every detail, fix every problem, and control every outcome. Yet the more they try to hold on, the more anxious they become. True peace begins when you stop trying to take the place of God and start resting in His plan. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means giving over. It means releasing your worries, your fears, and your expectations into hands far stronger than yours. When you surrender, you acknowledge that your understanding is limited, but His wisdom is perfect. You no longer need to force things to happen or fear missing your opportunity, because you know that what is meant for you cannot be taken from you. Control brings exhaustion, but surrender brings peace. The moment you stop fighting the process is the moment peace enters your heart. Surrender allows you to live freely without the constant weight of fear or pressure. It reminds you that the future is secure, even when the path ahead is not clear. Through surrender, you discover that peace is not found when everything is fixed, but when you trust even while things are uncertain. When you give control to God, you no longer live as a victim of circumstances, but as a child of purpose. The storms may still come, but they no longer control you, because your confidence is in the one who calms them. God's timing is a mystery that often challenges human patience. People want answers now, results now, and change now. Yet divine timing does not operate according to human urgency. Every delay, every pause, and every closed door is a piece of perfect timing that prepares the way for something greater. God's timing is never late. It is precise, intentional, and filled with wisdom. When you look back at moments that once caused frustration, you begin to see how perfectly the pieces fit together. What you thought was a delay was actually divine protection. What seemed like a missed opportunity was preparation for something better. The waiting tests your trust, but it also strengthens your vision. It teaches you to walk by faith, not by sight. If things happen too soon, you might not have been ready to handle them. The right timing ensures that you not only receive the blessing, but can also sustain it. Divine timing brings peace because it reminds you that your life is unfolding exactly as it should. You do not need to chase after things in panic. You need to stay faithful and let the plan unfold. When you accept that His timing is perfect, you stop comparing your journey to others and start appreciating your own process. You begin to see that every delay carries purpose and every closed door leads to direction. God is never late. He is always preparing the right moment for His promise to be fulfilled. Every closed door in life serves a purpose, even when it feels painful or confusing. Many people mistake rejection for failure, but often it is protection. When one door shuts, it does not mean that the journey is over. It means that the path is being redirected towards something better. There are times when people, opportunities, or dreams are removed, not because they are bad, but because they are not aligned with where you are meant to go. Closed doors keep you from settling for less than what was designed for your life. They shield you from distractions that could delay your purpose. When you look back, you begin to realize that many of the things you once wanted would have caused harm if you had received them too soon. A closed door may bring temporary disappointment, but it also carries unseen mercy. It protects you from heartbreaks, failures, and dangers that you cannot yet see. What feels like rejection is often divine redirection. Closed doors push you to grow, to seek deeper guidance, and to rely more fully on faith rather than on comfort. They are not the end of your story, but the turning point toward a greater chapter. Instead of fighting the doors that close, learn to thank God for the ones that did, because each one was saving you from something not meant for you. The path to destiny is shaped by both the doors that open and the ones that shut. Trusting that every closed door has purpose allows peace to replace frustration and confidence to replace fear. The cross stands as the greatest example that pain can lead to glory. What appeared to be defeat was actually the foundation for salvation. Pain is not the opposite of purpose. It is often the pathway to it. The greatest transformations are born out of the deepest trials. Every struggle, every heartbreak, and every disappointment carries within it a hidden seed of growth. Pain forces the soul to look beyond what is seen and to depend on something eternal. It reveals strength that comfort could never uncover. The story of the cross reminds us that what feels like an ending may actually be a beginning. The darkness of suffering often hides the light of transformation. Through pain you learn empathy, patience, and faith that cannot be shaken. It strips away pride and teaches dependence on divine power. Pain reminds you that there is purpose even in loss, that beauty can rise from ashes, and that no suffering is wasted when placed in God's hands. The cross shows that every wound can become a source of healing for others. When you carry pain with faith, it becomes your testimony. It changes your heart, deepens your spirit, and draws you closer to the source of life. The very thing that tried to destroy you becomes the evidence of grace. Pain does not mean abandonment, it means preparation for glory. What was once a place of sorrow becomes the symbol of victory, proving that purpose can emerge from the deepest suffering. Faith grows stronger in the seasons of waiting, because waiting tests the heart more deeply than any immediate answer ever could. When life slows down and prayers seem unanswered, it becomes a time of refining. In the waiting, you learn that faith is not built on quick results, but on steady trust. It is in the long nights of uncertainty that faith stretches and matures. Every delay forces you to decide whether you will give up or grow deeper. Waiting reveals the true foundation of belief. It separates temporary enthusiasm from lasting conviction. The heart learns to rest not in outcomes, but in the assurance that God's promises do not fail. Just as a tree's roots grow deeper during storms, faith digs deeper into trust when the winds of delay blow strong. The silence of waiting teaches you to listen more closely and to rely not on emotions but on promises. It builds endurance, the kind of endurance that can withstand life's storms without breaking. When nothing seems to move forward, faith whispers that something is happening beneath the surface. Waiting refines your character, strengthens your vision, and increases your capacity to receive. Those who learn to wait with faith are the ones who later walk with peace. Every season of waiting is a classroom for the soul, teaching lessons that success and comfort could never teach. When faith survives the waiting, it becomes unshakable. It no longer depends on what is seen, but is anchored in the unseen. The waiting season may be hard, but it is holy ground where faith grows from hope to certainty. To relax and rest in the truth that God already has a plan is to live in freedom from fear. Life becomes lighter when you stop trying to control what only heaven can manage. The human mind craves answers and certainty, but peace is found not in knowing every detail, but in trusting that every detail is known. Resting in this truth brings calm, even when circumstances are chaotic. It teaches you to breathe in peace when others panic. The heart that knows God has a plan no longer wrestles with anxiety. It walks with quiet strength. You begin to understand that everything happening is either arranged or allowed for a purpose that will lead to good. Worry cannot add a single day to your life, but trust can fill every day with meaning. Relaxing in faith does not mean ignoring problems. It means facing them with the confidence that you are not alone. It means believing that what looks uncertain to you is already settled in heaven. When you live with this perspective, you stop rushing through life and start walking in rhythm with divine timing. You see delays as preparation, losses as lessons, and trials as transformation. Rest becomes your weapon against fear. Confidence replaces confusion. Joy returns because your heart finally understands that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. To rest in this truth is to live with unshakable peace, knowing that God already has a perfect plan in motion. If this message spoke to your heart today, take a moment to reflect on what you've heard and let faith rise within you. Do not let this be just another video you watch. Make it a turning point in your life. Choose to trust even when you cannot see. Choose peace over panic and surrender over struggle. If you were encouraged, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss another message that strengthens your spirit and builds your faith. Share this message with someone who needs a reminder that their life is still in God's hands. Remember, your waiting is not wasted. Your pain has purpose, and your future is already secure. Relax, God already has a plan.